and we are recording. Emily, do you want to just run through the agenda quickly for folks, just while I get my stuff together here?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 250 Water Street Working Group. I sent out the agenda beforehand. Same as always, we'll start with some Brownfield Cleanup Program updates from DC and Langan. We should have DP joining us as well to give some updates on noise monitoring. And then we'll go to Laura Dodge and Tom Casillo for community consultant updates and end with community stakeholder discussion and Q&A.
Great. Okay. And as always, this is recorded and will be available afterwards. So, hold up copies of a current newspaper if you want to record what date this happened. And so if there are any other, I know Grace, I think Grace Lee is still in budget related meetings and maybe joining us in a bit. And maybe, it's a busy time. But yeah, so do we want to, if any other preliminary questions or comments, or we just jump into the agenda? Okay. So we have an update from, I think we're hearing from Howard Hughes and Langan first.
Generally Heidi opens. Heidi,
Oh, right.
Did you have anything you wanted to say first?
Just happy air, and with that, construction season is scheduled to begin. As Langan is going to present, we are hoping that the second and last phase of remediation of the 250 Water Street Brownfield Cleanup site will commence in May, and keep our fingers crossed that we have no delays weather-wise and that it's a quick and easy construction season. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Langan. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi. Mike, do you want to pull the deck up? Perfect.
Yep.
Great. All right, so we can go to the next screen here. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to give a really brief update. Not too much has happened since we met last, so hopefully this will be short and sweet. With respect to what has transpired on the site since we last met, as we told you the last time, we had planned to go out to the site to advance some geotechnical borings and also some additional environmental borings. Both of those tasks are complete. The geotechnical borings were performed around the perimeter of the site for the purposes of confirming the depth to bedrock to inform the supportive excavation design. Can everyone please go on mute? The environmental borings were completed on the Beekman Street side of the site. The purpose of those borings was to collect a limited amount of additional data to inform disposal facilities approval so that we can move soil offsite efficiently during phase 2 remediation. During both the geotechnical and the environmental borings, we implemented the community air monitoring plan. Couple of things about the camp that occurred during that period. One great thing is we have brand new weatherproof equipment for camp for the dust monitor and the PID monitors for organic vapor, which is great through a new supplier. However, we're working with the new supplier right now to get them to be able to produce a similar data deliverable as what was produced during phase 1 and during all other prior work. So that's a bit of a work in progress. We have uploaded the raw data, the raw camp data, to the project website. The key success is that there were no 15-minute time-weighted average exceedances of dust, organic vapor, or mercury vapor during any of these activities. And as soon as we have a system in place with AeroQual to generate a similar or identical data deliverable to what has been done previously, we will add that to the 250 Water Street website as well so that everybody can see that data in a more distilled format. Next. A small reminder here on the phase 2 remediation scope. as everyone is aware, we're done with phase 1. That means that 55% of the site has been remediated to track 2 cleanup criteria under the Brownfield Cleanup Program. The area that remains to be remediated is really primarily on the Beekman Street side of the site. What will be happening during phase 2 of remediation is excavation will occur to about 3 to 5 feet below grade in the area where you see the diagonal lines. Supportive excavation will be constructed around the perimeter of the site, and then excavation will occur to about 15 feet below grade in the green area, and dewatering will occur to allow for that excavation to proceed. Similar with track 1 remediation, once we reach about 15 feet below grade, we'll be collecting confirmation samples to confirm that the track 2 criteria has been achieved. The planned schedule for remediation, and I think we can go to the next slide. Perfect. We anticipate that we'll be starting in May 2023, and we anticipate that foundation excavation will take about 5 months to complete. During this phase of construction, we're not anticipating doing weekend work. However, if it turns out that we need to do that to keep this project on schedule, we will send out a notification not only prior to the start of work, but also in advance of any weekend work so the community is aware. One other kind of key point on scope and schedule for phase 2 remediation. The initial plan was to couple remediation with foundation construction, and the development team has decided to uncouple those 2 tasks. So phase 2 will include just remediation at this point. There may be some test piles that will occur, and also the supportive excavation that will be advanced as well during phase 2 remediation. Those are construction measures, but we don't anticipate proceeding with the mass foundation construction that was originally planned to be coupled with the site remediation. Okay, and then lastly, if anyone has any questions or concerns, again, these are the best ways and the fastest ways to reach out to the Howard Hughes team, including Langan. Calls, SMS messages, emails, and of course we have our project website where we keep the most up-to-date data on the project. And that is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mimi. Next up we had DEP. Is DEP on the call?
They're on.
Okay, great. So we have an update on noise monitoring?
As I don't think they're on.
Oh, you think they're not on? Okay. Can you?
Yeah, I'll check.
All right. And so I guess next we'll skip ahead to the community consultant updates, Laura and Tom.
Thank you, Senator. Hi, everybody. So, I mean, compared to the last meeting that we had, there hasn't been much that's gone on. So, I mean, confirming what Mimi had said about the soil boring program, and we did review the daily reports that were provided and also the raw data. Looking forward to seeing the updated new forms for daily air monitoring, because that'll make it a lot easier. My only question, I guess, on the start of the work is, Monday is May 1st. So I know it's likely not going to be starting Monday. So can you be a little bit more specific with when you anticipate? Is it going to be mid-May?
Likely mid-May.
Mid-May. Okay. So about another 2 weeks or so?
Yeah, 2 to 3, I would say. Best
Okay,
guess.
so mid to late May, which is just good for the community to be aware so they can gear up. We have had, I've had some discussions with CB1 about the start of the work. So we will get back to you guys if we have any further questions, but really none right now beyond, the things I just indicated.
Thank you, Laura. Tom, do you have any questions? Or...
Just a really just to reiterate a couple of the issues that I discussed on the last call, that Blue School has concerns, well, interest obviously in when the construction fence is going to be moved into the middle of Water Street. So they're wanting to understand when that's going to happen, because that could affect pick up and drop off of kids. Although I think they do close that stretch during those times in the morning and the afternoon. So any update on when they can expect the fence to be moved?
Gonna toss that one back to Adam.
Yeah, Tom, we're still working out the details of the fence, any relocation of the fence, but we will, we'll definitely give you a heads up and a notice when we have that determined.
All right, and then two other things. One was the noise monitoring, which we'd hoped there would be an update today for from DEP, but that continues to be somewhat of a concern. That the noise monitor will be set up and operating before the construction begins. And then the final thing was, again, requesting some for the arrival and dismissal times, some acknowledgement that maybe we could do something to slow the work or stop the work for a short period of time to allow the arrival and pickup to occur as seamlessly as possible, knowing that if the work doesn't begin till the middle of May, it's probably only a month of school will be left. So just a request on that, and that's it.
Okay, great. Thank you, Tom. Emily, any update from DEP?
Not yet. Maybe do you want to just give the update, or
why don't we? Yeah, why don't we go to I see Alice has her hand up, so why don't we do that? But yeah, well, I guess we'll tell you all what we know, what we've heard from DEP if they don't get on soon. But
thanks a lot, Senator. I just wanted to ask: is Elizabeth able to give us an update? I didn't hear it on the agenda, and forgive me, I may have missed it. But on the archaeological monitoring of the 26 boring sites, where are we at with that, and what kind of monitoring is being done in testing? I see you're on, so I thought we might want to hear about that. If there's any news.
Elizabeth, I don't think there's much to update, but Elizabeth, do you want to go ahead and
sure,
recap where we are?
Yeah, thanks, Adam. So Alice, do you mean for the geotechnical borings?
Yeah, right. Both. I don't know which ones have been done of recent, so forgive me.
We don't typically do monitoring for geotechnical borings. That's not considered an impact to archaeological resources because they're small. We throughout the project have been using the logs from those resources to help inform the monitoring later. So basically the update for now is the same as it was for the last meeting. We're speaking to the team, collecting information to update our work plan, which we will submit to the Landmarks Preservation Commission. And we'll be out there monitoring when they're doing the remediation below 8 feet.
I'm not sure I understand that. So you're saying that most city projects in archaeologically sensitive areas, when you're doing the geotechnical versus environmental borings, those don't get reviewed?
Correct. They're not monitored usually unless they're in an area with human remains sensitivity.
So it has to be a human remains sensitivity, otherwise not.
Correct.
Huh, I didn't realize that. That's interesting. Okay, thank you.
Good. Okay, Elaine.
Hi.
There we go.
We're moving quickly today.
Yeah, zipping along here.
Hi, good to see everybody. We're zipping along. I have a couple of questions. One, there's been a lot of talk about grade level, and the lot right now appears fairly smooth. Is this, I don't know who would answer this, is this the grade level that we're referring to? Has this been graded? The reason for my question is because obviously Pearl Street is higher than Water Street. And we're uphill from the site, and I'm not sure when if this isn't the actual grading level, when the grading level occurs, will it be on the Pearl Street grade, the Water Street grade? I'm not sure if,
Sure. I understand. I think I understand the question. What you're saying is that Pearl Street is at a much higher elevation than Water Street. So when we talk about excavating to 15 feet below grade, what does that mean?
yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna toss it over to Paul because I think he'll answer it more eloquently than I will.
Yeah, sure. So the 15-foot below grade is referring to the current grade of the sidewalks, essentially, or the initial grade of the site. So on the Pearl Street side, 15 feet below grade means 15 feet below the sidewalk, which is where currently the site is on the Peck Slip side of the site. Just in terms of elevation, the Pearl Street side is about elevation 16, and the bottom of that excavation is at about elevation 1. On the Water Street side, we took that area down. If you recall, during the petroleum hotspot removal, we went down to about elevation -8, and the sidewalk grade there is at about +7, +8. So that was about 16 feet below, 15, 16 feet below grade. And then that was backfilled up to +1. So it's going to be a similar exercise for phase 2. I don't know that we'll go quite as deep because there aren't the same hotspots on this side of the site that need to be removed. But you'll see a deeper excavation on the Water Street side and then backfill. And on the Pearl Street side, it'll just be kind of taking it down to match the current grade. The final grade will be consistent with where the phase 1 site is for the remediation.
Thank you. I have another one. This is for the DEC. I know we talked about that there would be a remediation of the two buildings that extend into Pearl Street. The question that's been asked is, will that be done at the same time that this phase 2 remediation is going on? If not, will it be done after the phase 2 remediation is completed? And will it be finished before the DEC signs off on the site?
Sorry, will the Pearls, will you repeat the first part of the question?
Will the two buildings that extend, this is really for the DEC if they're still on.
Yeah, Mimi, I got this.
Okay.
So the first step is that DEC is going to complete an investigation to determine if there is a need to do any remediation in Pearl Street. At this point in time, we don't have enough information to determine that. That investigation is, we're scheduling that for this summer to do it while school is out. After that information is collected, we'll do an assessment and make a determination as to whether or not additional work or investigation needs to be done. So it's gonna, we're gonna do the investigation this summer, and then based on that data, we'll make a plan after that.
And then if there is work that has to be done, the next two parts of my question are, will it be done? So what we're looking to do is say, when the remediation is over, the remediation is over, including.
Okay, yeah.
Will
Yeah, no, they're two separate projects. The BCP site is within the property boundaries of the 250 Water Street site. That work is separate from the off-site or the street site investigation. So the work that's going currently on 250 Water Street is independent from what DEC will be doing in Pearl Street. We have used the information that they gathered during the remedial investigation and the data that they've gathered as they're doing the remediation to help guide what our investigation is going to be. But once the remediation is completed on 250 Water Street, that site will get their certificate of completion while DEC continues their work on the Pearl Street side of the fence.
Thank you for answering that. Thought I had one other. Okay, I've asked this question from the beginning, and it looks like we have some time today. So let me ask it again, because I've gotten varying answers. And is there a correlation between the height of a building and the foundation and the depth of the foundation?
You can design tall buildings with a foundation at grade, or you can design short buildings with a deep foundation. It's just how you design the foundation and the structural reinforcements within that foundation to hold up the above grade structure.
Okay, thank you. I'm done.
Okay, thank you, Elaine. So I see Nicole has a hand, but I think I think DEP is now on, so I think we'll switch back and get an update on noise monitoring.
Hello, Senator. I'm sorry, did you want Nicole to go first?
No, if you can go, we were just doing, you were on the agenda earlier, but we had just skipped ahead to some of the questions and discussion. So yeah, if you could give it your update, that'd be great.
Thank you, Senator. Apologize about that. So after speaking and figuring this out with DEP staff, we have a noise monitor available for this construction site, which we can install. Depending on, we would need to know exactly where you would like to have the noise monitor installed. But basically, we would follow the same same setup as before, where we would visit the site and coordinate with the technician or facility manager, the staff for the school to set up the noise monitor. But yes, we have one noise monitor which we actually just procured. It's a new device from a new small company. So we're fortunate enough to have that and be able to install it and be useful here for you all.
And just for context, so the previous noise monitors were provided through a contract with NYU, and that contract has expired now. Is that right?
That's correct, Senator. It's that program's discontinued. It was the Sounds of New York City. They were the ones who provided us with the device, and they had the software. They were monitoring. That was basically an NYU project. It was funded by the National Science Foundation. But yes, it is discontinued. I believe the two noise sensors are still at both schools, but I don't think they're actually taking any data. But in any case, moving forward for DEP, we were able to work with a new small company where we got a new device. We just recently got it. Unfortunately, Senator, we only have one to spare. We don't have too many. And again, it's a new partner, and we're just trying to make things work here.
And I think you might have missed the update about the timing of this, but we're expecting activity to resume by the third, or roughly the third week of May, a couple weeks from this Monday. Is there, and I understand you'd be able to get I think you had told us you would try to get it installed at the beginning of May. Does it seem like you could have that on site and ready to go by before, like, let's say before May 15th?
Absolutely. I think that's possible. We just need to determine on the site which building. Once we know that, we'll reach out to the school facility staff, either the principal or their facility manager. We'll set up an appointment with them. We set it up, and but in terms of our staff, the supervisor who coordinates this is out until mid next week. So if perhaps we can have the discussions and then we determine the location by next week, coordinated by the end of next week, we could definitely have something the first week of May. So yeah, I don't see a problem by May 15th. I don't see that being a problem.
Okay. So you need guidance from this group as to where, if there's a single monitor at the site. I don't know if people have comments about whether that's adequate, but that's what DP has to offer. And then which in the past we had one in Pexlip and one in Blue School. Is that right?
That is correct. So it is up to you or the group. We're willing to work with whichever building is, or again, it depends on the school if they want it, and if they are willing to have us install this.
So
Again.
questions, comments, reactions, anybody?
Well, I know, just speaking for Blue School, I know that they were very interested in having a noise monitor placed on the school, given their close proximity to the site.
All right. Is someone here from PEXLIP?
I don't think so.
Okay, I think it's fair to say there was quite a bit of interest in the having the monitor and the data, and using it to ensure that the activities at PEXLIP weren't being disrupted as well. I guess just to ask, there's no chance DP comes up with a second air monitor in the next couple of weeks. I'm sorry, second noise monitor in the next couple of weeks.
I wish I could answer with a yes on that, Senator. I truly, or we truly have tried in several ways. But like I said, unfortunately, we had to partner with a new company.
That's right. How much, just for our edification, how much does a noise monitor cost?
So cost is one thing, but the availability, making them, is another. So we have to find a company who actually makes these types of devices. But I will get a figure for you. I don't have one on the top of my head.
But you're saying this sort of is like a supply, is this another supply chain issue? Or
yeah, pretty much. There's not a lot of companies. Right. There aren't many companies who do this, and also as any agency and going through the parameters, there's standards and stuff that we have to things that have to go through the channels. But I'll also answer it with in the future we are planning to get more of these sound noise monitors. I just don't have a time frame yet, and I don't think it's going to be within a couple of weeks. That's not possible right now, unfortunately. But I agree with so I would say the nearest building to the construction site makes a lot of sense. But again, it is up to you all. We'll work with whomever.
Is perhaps a delicate question, but Blue School is, I should know the timing on this, but Blue School is also ceasing operations at that site. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. They're shutting down at the end of the school year.
Okay,
I don't know if there'll be anything going on there during the summer. Sometimes they had summer programs. I don't know whether that's happening. I'll check with Noah, the head of school.
Okay, so but roughly speaking, we're talking about classes through end of May or early June?
I think the middle of June.
Okay. Okay. I guess one more question. Is it relatively easy to move this? Like if we were to have ongoing activities in one, I mean, were you suggesting, Umberto, that the logical place to put it from a technical perspective is at the Blue School because it's closer to the site?
Yes. I mean, if that was going to make the decision for you all easier, it would be closer.
No, we want to make the right call on this, but yeah,
correct.
Obviously, if there's a technical, Elaine, do you have your hand up about this?
Oh,
yes.
No, it's not that.
Okay, all right, let's see. Just any guidance or thoughts on this? Anybody?
Nothing remotely different interpretation, but.
So to add to that, Senator, even if the Blue School is not in session after, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, after middle of June, if PEXLIP is asking if they would like it, then that's another, obviously you base that decision on that. But again, closest to the construction site, we'll be able to get a clearer picture idea of the construction noise spikes. And basically the purpose is just to figure out when those spikes are, so DP can go out, so we can talk to the contractor, so you all guys know, hey, something is excessive taking place here. So contractor HAC can, advise you or relay, hey, we had this construction activity taking place this day, and we can modify or, give you a schedule on that. And of course, and also we check to see if they are in compliance in terms of their noise mitigation measures.
Umberto, I guess the other point I would raise, given that the north end of the site has been remediated, the site that's closest to Peck Slip, the remediation that's going to be conducted now is definitely going to be closer to Blue School than Peck Slip. So at least at the beginning of the process, it probably makes sense to have that at the Blue School. And later on, when there's more site-wide construction, maybe moving it to Peck Slip at that point. But the construction that's going to be happening now with the excavation is going to be pretty much right across the street from Blue School, whereas the Peck Slip is going to be a further distance away from the rest, the remediation of the rest of the site.
Good point.
Okay, any other questions, thoughts on this? It sounds like DEP is suggesting that we install the thing at the Blue School. Because again, for the purpose, not just of serving the needs of people at the Blue School, but that's the most effective way to monitor noise and the general noise generated by the site.
From someone who's not saying anything, that's what I'm hearing. If that's what Umberto's recommending as the noisiest hotspot that would be relevant, then that makes sense.
Okay, I'm just slightly reluctant because Peck Slip isn't here, but if with no objection, I think we'll, especially because I think it's important that we have a decision as to the site so that DEP can actually get the thing installed before the noise resumes, or hopefully doesn't resume. But all right, so unless there are any objections on this group, I think we'll go ahead and suggest that it be installed there. All right, good. Any other questions or business that we want to discuss? Okay, hearing none. This was a quick meeting, but thank you everybody for your attendance and participation. And we will, I don't know if we have a proposed date on the calendar for the next one, but we'll be in touch to, we'll check if that makes sense given the progress on the site and confirm with all of you.
And I just want to put one more plug in to make sure that the paperwork process for Laura gets finalized and put through.
Yeah, forgive me. I meant to mention that. I think that was an issue we had raised at the last meeting. We were hoping it'd be resolved. So I think I think Laura Dodge his role here has been absolutely essential, and I think we need to
with due haste. Lovely.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, we received input from the team. I think it was yesterday, so we'll finalize things and get it back out today or tomorrow morning. So we should be in good shape.
Okay. We don't want to have to arrange a picket for Laura working without a contract. So,
Me neither. Thank you.
All right, thanks everybody. All right, so if there are no further questions or comments, I think we'll adjourn. But thank everybody for your participation.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks
Thanks
everyone.
all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Senator.